It's a wrap on Justin Timberlake. It's a wrap. There's nothing else to see here, right? Let's talk about that today. Hi, welcome back to Neeshi's Noggin, where I share with you what's on my mind. It's hot as hell. I'm so sorry. I'm in my daddest of dad shirts, which might be appropriate because today we're talking about Justin Timberlake. That has been the biggest news in pop culture this week. And as a pop culture enthusiast, it's the only thing that's been on my mind, so let's talk about it. Justin Randall Timberlake was arrested Tuesday at approximately 12:30 in the morning for driving while intoxicated. Apparently, he was leaving a hotel where he was at a function with some friends. And on the way back, police noticed that he drove right through a stop sign. And when they started following him without the lights on, he was allegedly unable to stay in his lane. No, this is the part where any Janet Jackson and or Britney Spears fan can come in and make a joke. But I'm trying to stay focused. Thus, getting arrested. And then we got to see this soon to be, if not already, iconic mugshot of this man that looks like he's definitely under the influence of what I couldn't tell you. But we're going to talk about this today. So Justin Timberlake is one of a few artists that was so popular when I was younger. And some of these artists that are trying to come back and really trying to build on maintaining or reestablishing their relevance, but are just struggling to do so. And I want to recap that real quick with you. Then we're going to talk about what I think that Justin Timberlake should do to fix up this entire situation, because while drinking under the influence or while intoxicated is a horrible thing and nobody advocates for it, as a pop culture enthusiast, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about the PR of it all and what this could mean, because this is the most that people have talked about him in a long time. And some might say that that was intentional. But first, Justin Timberlake is one of those artists like Katy Perry, girl. I feel like I'm going to be talking about Katy Perry in a very similar way very soon. But some of these artists are really trying to come up and really establish their relevance again in the same way that they did before. Justin Timberlake, I feel like this whole era of his, it started off with a really strong idea. Late last year, the Trolls movie, which is like a huge movie franchise for kids and families, for the soundtrack leading up to this Trolls movie, I think the Trolls band together, Justin enlisted all of NSYNC to get back together and make a song, and it was called Better Place. Before we get into the NSYNC reunion, I'm going to talk about why this was one of the only good ideas of this new era or this current era of Justin Timberlake, because the last big hit that Justin Timberlake had was Can't Stop the Feeling. That came out in 2016, and it came out alongside a Trolls movie. That song, to this day, still gets regular play on the radio. I wish I could stop the feeling. That song is still everywhere, and I do not like it. I like a lot of Justin songs. That one I can't stand. So with the popularity of that in mind, let's go ahead and reproduce what was successful last time, and let's try and build off of that. Rather than just come out with a new song on his own, Justin enlisted his bandmates NSYNC, who he came up with. For the young people that may be watching or listening, NSYNC was where Justin Timberlake got his start. It was one of the biggest boy bands, the pop scene, the late 90s and early 2000s. They had hit after hit after hit. My sister had the No Strings Attached CD when I was growing up, and I would sneakily listen to that because it was that fierce. Now, NSYNC got together and they made the song called Better Place. I actually was able to listen to the song around this time last year. With my old job, I was working directly with like record labels. One of the representatives at the record label was like, hey, I want you to hear this song and let me know what you think of it. Played Better Place for me. And I was like, okay, let me know that like this is going to be on the new Trolls movie soundtrack. This is going to be like huge. And so I hear the song. I'll be real with you. I didn't care for the song. I was like, this is cute. It's not even bad. It's just like, this is really very obvious what you're trying to do, which is recreate Can't Stop the Feeling. And so I hear the song and I was like, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. It's very whatever. But what's exciting to me is that NSYNC is back together on a song. And I was like, everybody's on the song? To which I was told, yes, they're all back on the song. And I was like, oh, are we finally getting the NSYNC reunion that everybody's been asking for? To which I'm told, we'll see how things go. But right now, Justin's working on something and he's got a whole album that's coming and it's going to be amazing. I'm going to be very honest with you. Even at that time, I was a little confused because as someone who is chronically online, I'm very aware of the fact that even before some of the most recent events, the public opinion online, and especially with younger generations that are aware of Justin, is not very popular. People have become very aware of what ended up happening to Janet Jackson at the Super Bowl when they performed together and how he and the public had reacted afterwards. A lot of opinions on that have changed. And then, of course, everything with Britney Spears. Now we got to get into Britney. Britney Spears' memoir, A Woman in Me, A Woman in Me came out in late October of 2023. There were a couple major highlights from that moment. was that iconic audiobook rendition of Justin Timberlake talking to Genuine that went viral.
Jay got all excited and said so loud, "Oh yeah, faux shiz, Genuine. What's up, homie?"
So that was one moment, right? But probably the biggest and most jarring revelation that came from the book was Britney revealing that during hers and Justin's teenage sweetheart relationship, Britney discovered that she was pregnant. Now, if again, you weren't around during that time, Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake were dating again. Late 90s, 2000s. It was around this time that these two were together. They were teenagers / young adults at the time. And Britney reveals that when she found out that she was pregnant, she wanted to keep the baby, but she says that Justin was not interested in it. And so she took care of that and had her abortion. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that word anymore. In the book, Britney details about how she ended up taking care. I believe she was provided the pill form, and she talks about how she was in excruciating pain, laying on the floor. And while all of this is happening, apparently Justin Timberlake is just playing on his guitar and singing to her. Oh my God. Girl, so tone deaf. All of this is happening literally as Justin Timberlake is gearing up for this comeback, and he's releasing a single and he's doing these surprise performances. He honestly had a terrible response to this. I talked about this in a previous episode of Neeshi's Noggin. Justin Timberlake is performing, I think he was in New York. It was something about how he was I have nothing to apologize for. I have to say that, well, first of all, get into this microphone. I got a microphone. At the time, this was towards the end of the last job that I had. I just remember everybody behind the scenes, everybody internally was so invested in this Justin Timberlake comeback. There were brainstorms about how do we capitalize on this huge comeback. He's got a single, he's got an album, he's going to tour. This is going to be the biggest thing of 2024. And the whole time I kept on being is it going to be the biggest thing of all time? I don't think so, regardless. To give you context, in the industry, everybody was this is going to be the biggest thing of the year. So now you understand that. Now we're here in the middle of his tour. This very tour that I was told was going to be the biggest deal in the world. Tickets are selling for $50 a piece. No shade. It's just the truth. I Googled it today. In the middle of this tour, Justin Timberlake was arrested for driving while intoxicated. The mugshot is out. The story is the biggest thing that I think Justin Timberlake has had in years. And he was on a quick little break. The tour is supposed to continue tonight here in Chicago. So if you are Team Justin, or if you are Justin himself, as a pop culture enthusiast, I'm here to give you what I would do as PR advice. Since tonight, Friday night, is basically the return to the tour, I want this to be the one and only time, Justin, that you are addressing the situation. We're going to make some adjustments to the set list because I took a look at it. I feel like there's some brief moments where we can switch up the way that you've rehearsed the show. First off, I know that towards the beginning of the show, you perform your hit, My Love. Somewhere in this performance, I need you to make it a point to specify that your loves are your wife and your 2 kids. Your wife and your kids. You need to make it a point during that show to spotlight them because they're the only ones that are going to hold you down. Trust me. And you need to acknowledge that you know this and that you appreciate this and that not only are they your loves, you love them as well. If I could have it my way, I know that you're going to perform Cry Me a River at some point. I would love for you to make a quick joke or a comment. Something about the irony of you singing about Cry Me a River when you're the one that's crying the river right now. Now, towards the end of the show, not the very end, but towards the end of the show, you perform Selfish. And then that's supposed to go into What Goes Around Comes Around. This is your time. I want you to stick to the script and only to the script. So rather than going from Selfish right into What Goes Around Comes Around, you either cut Selfish short or you just take a blatant pause between these two songs. That for sure needs to happen. You're going to talk about how it's been one hell of a week, kind of jokey about it, like... Glad to be back on tour. So happy that all of you are here to make it. Is everybody having fun tonight? Woohoo. Yeah, everybody's having so much fun. I want you to talk about how you are aware of the fact that you are not a perfect man and that you are constantly working on yourself. You are a man that has made mistakes in the past. It's something that you are constantly learning from and never interested in repeating, and definitely not interested in other people replicating. We're saying these things without directly addressing the situation, because I know you're performing at United Center here in Chicago. I know that the United Center has a really good relationship with Uber. I think that it would be incredible if you offered either a one free ride or a discount for everybody in the audience, and you put up on the display, because I'm sure you got a big ass screen behind you, but if you put a big display on there that says the discount code, I'm taking care of your ride back home. I want everybody to get home safely, but I also want everybody to have as much fun as they possibly can. Something like that. Or if you can negotiate it for everybody, that would be the greatest spin. If everybody gets a notification from Uber and they're just like, surprise, one free ride tonight and tonight only, use code Justin to get that blah, blah, blah. Let people know that actions have consequences. Don't be like me, because what goes around comes around. Boom, get into the song, and that's it. That would be the moment. That's the time. Let it be from there. And then we are not going to say, oh my God, there's a bug. Oh, it's outside. If I were you, I would do my best to try and figure out how to make that relationship with Uber last for the rest of the tour, because I think it goes through July. So it's not too long. I don't know if it's going to come out of your pocket. I would say you should do that. But I want to make sure that you know that you should not say anything else. Do not say anything else, sir. Okay? Don't go off the script. Please. No acknowledgments of the rumors that the officer that arrested you apparently allegedly didn't know who you were. You made it a point to mention your name. You made it a point to mention that you're on tour right now. Apparently the officer did. That's the rumor. I don't really believe that, but please don't address that. I feel like one of the things I've noticed about you over the years is that you do kind of like to go off script a little bit. And this is not the time to do that. You need to be buttoned up, be on your suit and tie. Sir, you stick to the script, you finish the tour, shut up, disappear, don't say nothing, don't post nothing, just be quiet. Okay, quiet. I gave advice to J-Lo about her current PR disaster situation, and I feel like a similar thing is going to work for you. When you are being public, it's only by way of social media. You're only going to acknowledge your family. It's only going to be posts dedicated to your wife, Jessica Biel, your kids together. I don't think that you need to take too much time off. I think that after the tour is done, give it a month or two, and then you need to do what everybody was expecting in the first place when you dropped that song with NSYNC for the Trolls Band Together soundtrack. You need to do a full project with NSYNC, sir. I don't know what the holdup is. I hope you realize now that you absolutely should be doing that if your desire is to continue to establish and maintain your celebrity. If it's another song, a music video, an album, a tour, a Vegas residency, whatever it is, you need to go as far as possible with that. This is your bread and butter at this point, and this is a great way for you to help remind people this is when they fell in love with you, when you did the NSYNC stuff, when you bye. This might be a little ridiculous, but to me, I feel like when the NSYNC reunion happens, sir, rather than it just be a song, there's like a whole album, just have one of the songs be something about like something called like Cuff Me or something. And obviously it not have anything to do with your actual arrest, but more so have to do like, if it's Cuff Me, just have to be like some super sexual freaky deaky song so that all the moms that are in love with y'all will be like, oh my God. Something along those lines, so that not only is this giving the fans what they want to, which is that sexual fantasy with their boy band dream, boy, but also it'll mess with the Google SEO of your arrest. It'll kind of conflate some of those search results when people are looking up your news. You know the drill. Just mess with the SEO a little bit, okay? I'm just putting this out there because, as I've said, I am a pop culture enthusiast. I have loved pop culture for decades, and I find this stuff really interesting. And in a dream scenario, I would get to be like the Olivia Pope of celebrities if they were just to call me during like this big disaster. And all right, so everybody sit down. It's been handled. I would love that. Would be so cool. Actually, it's so cool. And as far as Justin Timberlake goes, I mean, I've absolutely loved his music. He was one of my gay awakenings. I'll admit it. I will absolutely admit that he was one of my gay awakenings. But in all honesty, I have learned and realized that I've loved some of the older music that he's come out with. Not really too much fan of him as a persona and a celebrity. Retrospect has really shown that he was really icky and still seems to be acting that way. So this is your way to kind of change that up. Times have changed. We respect women a lot more than we did back when you were coming up, sir. At least I like to think that. Keep that in mind. It's just something that was on my mind that I wanted to, talk about here on Neeshi's Noggin, where I share with you what's on my mind. Now, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be the first person to come back for our next episode, which comes every week. And I've also got a few episodes already that are really similar to this that you should check out, where I talked about the beginning of the downfall of J-Lo and Justin Timberlake. And then I kind of did like an in-depth discussion like this about Jennifer Lopez in hopes of giving her and her team some introspect on what exactly they should do and how Jennifer Lopez has set herself up for disaster in a very similar way that Justin Timberlake has done. So be sure to check that out. Stay cool and hydrated because it's hot as hell. It's summertime and it's hot. And this new apartment that I'm in only got air conditioning in one room. And that's not the room that I'm in. Check out some episodes. I'll see you next week. Bye.